Have you seen Star Wars?
We now have a new Star Wars tradition. Every year on May the 4th, we get a new Tales short series. They're about 6 episodes long. There's 2 characters they focus on. They each get 3 episode arcs. It started with Tales of the Jedi, focusing on Jedi Count Dooku and, of course, Ahsoka Tano. Then last year, we got Tales of the Empire, which covered Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth. This year, we get Tales of the Underworld, which is about the famed bounty hunter Cad Bane and former Sith assassin slash Night Sister slash turned bounty hunter Asajj Ventress. And in the first 3 episodes, the arc is about Asajj Ventress. That's where we start off, and it picks up immediately after Dark Disciple, where Quillen Voss brings her body to Dathomir after Count Dooku killed her. Then, in the ethereal realm of the Force, Mother Talzin whispers to Ventress that she could stay there with her Night Sisters in the spirit realm or whatever, or she can go back to the living world. The only catch is that she can no longer be with Quillen Voss because that's her heart's desire. That's like the catch of her coming back to life. And I think this was all really unnecessary. Cheating death in Star Wars is a very big deal. In both canon and legends, the Sith spent generations, thousands and thousands of years trying to figure out this secret, but Ventress can just do it because this guy loved her. It's stuff like this that typically would have major implications in the canon. Hell, even in Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine tells Anakin to cheat death is a power only one has achieved. We all thought he was talking about Plagueis, but I guess Ventress is now number 2. So I vastly disagree with the story decision here, but surprisingly, I did mostly enjoy this entire 3 episode arc. It's a typical kind of Clone Wars style story with Ventress helping out this new Jedi or this Jedi Padawan named Latz, who was honestly very forgettable. He's basically like an Ezra Bridger 2.0, but she uses him to find this thing called the Path that Quillen Voss created for the Jedi to escape. Over the 3 episodes, I found nothing interesting about Latz at all. I mean, I really couldn't even tell you a characteristic trait about the kid. But the fight with the Inquisitor in the first episode, I actually thought was really cool. I liked seeing Ventress use a blue and yellow lightsaber. That's a simple kind of fun fan servicey stuff, but it looks beautiful, and I thought the choreography was fine. The second episode has them work with the bounty hunters, and it's a typical Clone Wars action adventure style episode. I thought it was the weakest episode in the 6 that are in this Underworld little series thing, but the third Ventress episode, in my opinion, was a lot better. Yet again, simple, but I liked seeing this old separatist man on a backworld planet, basically always at war with someone because that's all he knows. I did initially roll my eyes when the raiders showed up and everything, but then as time went on, it shows that they were just protecting their water. I did kind of like the reveal. I thought their style, like, well, I don't know what species they're called, but they looked kind of cool. I also thought it was a little surprising that they were the ones who really knew about the path and everything, and it wasn't the old man. So stuff like that, I don't really mind. I didn't think it was executed in an awful way. Ventress choosing not to try and see Quillen and Voss wasn't that surprising either, but it makes you wonder with her little curse, that witch magic thing, if she would even be allowed to go see Quillen Voss. Like, that's the confusing stuff. These are the annoying questions you ask yourself after watching this kind of story. And it was a cute little moment that she had a friend, Latz, who decides to literally ride off into the sunset with Ventress. While the episodes themselves I think, are executed fine. The pacing is quick and it's to the point. The action is entertaining. The animation, of course, is truly beautiful. But they brought back Ventress from the dead, brought her back to life just to have her ride out into the sunset with a new Padawan friend. That really takes any impact out of her death in Dark Disciple. Now that's just 2 more Force users that are kind of like good guys who are alive post Order 66 because this was about Ventress becoming a better person, I guess, which I thought was something they already kind of did in Dark Disciple. So now Ventress is alive and her death just means she can never see Quillen Voss again. I wish we could just, I don't, in my opinion, kill off characters and that be the end of it. I don't understand this big ordeal of constantly bringing characters back from the dead. In this case, for really no good reason. It's a huge deal in canon to cheat death like Ventress does here, and it's just treated as if it's no big deal that she does it just to become friends with the Padawan. I mean, I really hate that. So this is one of those weird things where I don't like the story of this Ventress arc, but the writing in it and the actual episodes themselves are not that bad. So I would give the Ventress arc a 7 out of 10. Not bad, not great, just okay. I just can't stand what they're constantly doing, / Dave Filoni, to the canon stuff with cheating death. The Cad Bane arc, I will say, surprised me the most. It was a simple kind of kids growing up in a crime scenario where one kid goes on a life of crime while the other follows law and order, but it was done in a really good way. Cad Bane is a homeless kid and an easy target to influence into a life of crime. The guy who gets him into the life is Cad's like biggest influence. He's got the hat and everything, the little gunslinger Western vibes. When a lawman kills Bane's mentor. He tracks him down, he kills him, and then his girl betrays him. It's a very simple, typical Western plot, but it really works because Cad Bane's arc was almost like cops and robbers in Star Wars or a Western in Star Wars. I actually think it adds a lot more depth to Bane's character to have this backstory. He was living in the streets as a kid, an orphan with one friend, grows up in a life of crime, then kills the man who kills his mentor, betrayed by the woman he loves, and his childhood best friend locks him away for years. And then he comes back and kills his childhood best friend and later becomes one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, easily a top five, maybe even top three bounty hunter. It's exactly the backstory a character like Cad Bane deserves, and it does his character justice, unlike the injustice of bringing Ventress back from her death just to have her simply have a pointless story, in my opinion. But that's what's weird about this season of the Tale series. The story for Ventress isn't great, but the actual episodes are not bad. The Cad Bane story is simple but really good, and the episodes are, in my opinion, pretty good. Funny enough, Dave Filoni wrote the story for both of these arcs, but a guy named Matt Mitch Novtet, I don't know how to say his name, but this guy named Matt wrote the teleplay, which is basically adapting Dave Filoni's story into a short format for something like an animated series. So props to the writer Matt for turning a bad story, in my opinion, about Ventress into a decent watch, and props to Dave Filoni for actually giving me something that, yet again, I don't like, the Ventress episodes, while also giving me something I genuinely enjoy, the Bad Batch episodes. Once again, Dave Filoni makes another Star Wars thing that I like, and yet I don't like. So I think the Cad Bane arc was much better. I would rate that an 8 out of 10 compared to the Asajj Ventress arc, which is a 7 out of 10. The Cad Bane one is something I definitely could see myself rewatching. I do think it didn't soil anything about Cad Bane or anything like that. It didn't make anything worse with him. Sometimes these prequel arcs about these character backstories kind of change the way you look at them. This fits what you would expect from Cad Bane. This is one of those poor kids who goes into a life of crime, and you see that in the real world all the time. And even when he joins it, they call it like a family and everything like that. Like it all makes sense, and it gives so much, I guess, expected experience with someone like Cad Bane. So I would rate the overall Tales of the Underworld a 7.5 overall. It's not bad, it's not great, but it's good. We know now that they're doing this every year to kind of keep us Star Wars fans busy. This is a keep them busy kind of thing. Every year, May the 4th, you're going to get 6 short episodes in the Tales series. I don't know what they'll do next. They did Tales of the Underworld. It was supposed to be kind of like a bounty hunter thing. Maybe next year they'll do a real bounty hunter. Maybe the next year they'll do a Tales of the Rebellion. I wouldn't be surprised. So, should you watch Tales of the Underworld? Yeah, it's worth a watch. If you like the Clone Wars at all, I think you would enjoy this. But leave a comment below. What would you rate Tales of the Underworld? And what did you think about Ventress returning from the dead? Leave a like to support the channel. Subscribe for future conversations on Star Wars. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time, my friends, and may the Force be with you always.